Thank you, Mr. Speaker, ladies and gentlemen. I really had not wanted to rise today to speak on this bill, but I was compelled because of some things that were said, even some questions that were asked of all of us. And I know that one of the questions someone asked, that those of us that wear a shirt and tie, that I kind of almost insinuated that we really had never really worked for a living out there in some other job or whatever. And I just want to remind everybody, when I came here in 95, I had an independent property and casualty insurance agency, and I did wear a tie pretty much every day. But that's not where I started. My first job was as an underground coal miner in December of 1971 in Union County, a county that I'm very proud to represent today. And I worked there for probably 2 or 2.5 years in some of the most dangerous work that anyone can do. And if it's not dangerous, it was certainly dirty. But I enjoyed the time that I spent there because it gave me a better understanding of the jobs that those other folks that had to do that maybe all of their life, the challenges that they faced and the safety issues that they faced. And then after that, I left and went back to my family's steel fabrication business. And so that's why I've always said that by trade, I'm a welder and a steel fabricator. And let me say that in our business as a steel fabricator, we worked with all types of heavy metal. We were probably the premier shop in Western Kentucky that could bend 2 and 3 and 4 inch thick metal that could go inside and line the insides of the buckets that did the strip mining in that area, and even some other surrounding states as well. And so one of the machines that we used was what we called a metal brake. It was a hydraulic brake. It had a lower die that was more of a V shape. Then it had the front of the machine and a blade, and that blade would come down and it would bend that metal. And we got wrote up a couple times by an OSHA inspector that said, well, that machine doesn't have a guard on it, a pinch guard to keep you from getting your fingers in it. Well, we'd always taught our employees that we're going to line it up where we're going to bend, and then we're going to come down and set it in place, and then hands off. Get your hands out of the way. And they always did that. But the problem was that if you put a guard on that machine, and we were written up because there was not a guard on that machine. If you put a guard on it, the machine was worthless. You couldn't bend metal because the guard would prevent the metal from bending. I remember one time one of my friends who was also a competitor was written up by an OSHA inspector that he didn't have a guard on his brake. And he said to him, I'll tell you what, I want to be in compliance with all OSHA regulations. If you will show me how I can do that, I will gladly do that. And the response from the inspector was, well, it's not my job to tell you how to do it. It's my job to just tell you that you're in violation because you don't have a guard on that machine. And, I'm going to vote on this bill today, and I'm going to vote in favor. And certainly my vote is not because I want to immediately reduce cost on some business out there. Certainly it's not because I want to lower safety regulations for our workers, because I have been those workers before. But it's because I feel like that if we have someone coming into our industries and regulating it with the abilities to write violations that have a fine, that organization deserves, like the people they deserve to try to protect with the regulations, they deserve to be able to say to that business, we understand what you do, and we understand that our duty is to tell you that you're in compliance because you have not done something that could be done. Certainly not something that cannot be done, certainly not something that's impossible to be done. So with that, I just want to say the debate's been good, but it's been a little emotional at times. But don't view us all that vote for this legislation as someone who in any way wants to roll back restrictions or is just concerned about cost, because the industries or the government out there that regulates us deserves to understand us and deserves to understand what our business is, how it operates, and how they can better help us to provide a safer workplace by doing things that are reasonable and that are doable. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.